we lived beyond our means. We certainly didn't have a lot of money. I was no longer happy living in the UK. Your dreams come true. It gave us fantastic memories. Whatever you want to do, just do it. Hi, everyone. It's Tea with Tina. I am sat here on a beautiful, gorgeous, sunny afternoon, and I thought I would just make myself a drink. And I'm actually looking out of the window, and believe it or not, this morning I saw not only a hot air balloon, but a fabulous eagle flew by, and it so made me feel good. Reflecting, Norm and I had been together for 50 years, and we had 10 years of a wonderful retirement. And I was just thinking to myself, what advice would I give to my 30-year-old self if I was starting all over again? So I thought I'd share some of my thoughts with you while I'm having a tea. Looking back, as Norm and I got together very young, and we started our family young, and there were a lot of things we still wanted to do then. We wanted to travel. When we were first married, we certainly didn't have a lot of money by any means, but we came up with this idea that perhaps when we had young children, if we bought a small trailer or caravan, as they call it in the UK, we thought that maybe we could hitch this up to the car. And at the time, Norm was on the road, so we could travel with him to go on weekends away. And we actually started to get really ambitious, and we actually went to France, and we had some wonderful memories when the children were so young. But what I wanted to say was, we didn't have a lot of money by any means. In fact, I think I remember we paid £3,000 at the time for this caravan. And actually, I think we even had to pay for it in installments because we didn't have the money for it. But what it did was, it gave us fantastic memories. And I think that's something that is so important to you if you are in your 30s. One thing we did do as time moved on a little bit, we came out to Canada. When we think about protecting ourselves, most of us picture locks on the doors or keeping our wallets safe. But these days, the bigger threat is actually online. Identity theft can strike without warning, and it can cost you so much time, stress, and money. That's why I've partnered with Nord Protect, a service designed to protect you against digital identity theft. They don't just warn you if something looks suspicious. They actively monitor your credit, your identity, and even the dark web 24/7. So, if your personal information ever gets leaked, like your emails or your passwords or even your banking details, Nord Protect spots it. It alerts you immediately and helps stop the damage. And here's the part that I love most. They don't just find the problem. They actually work to restore your identity. So if you don't have to spend countless hours chasing it all down yourself, they are doing it for you. In today's world, it's not a matter of if your data gets exposed, but when. Nord Protect gives you peace of mind that someone is watching out for you. So if you would like to try it out, check the link on the screen and in the description below to learn more. Protect your identity and protect your future with Nord Protect. And just a quick note right now, Nord Protect is available to US customers only. And I would like to say thank you to Nord Protect for sponsoring my video today. We actually came out for Christmas and we stayed with a family member, and our children were quite small at the time. But we fell in love with Canada, and particularly, probably it was me that was the driving force, but bless his heart, no one went along with it. And I was no longer happy living in the UK, and I wanted to bring the family to a new country and to emigrate to Canada. And that's what we did. But it wasn't easy. We had a house to sell, and there was a lot of reality in sometimes wanting to make your dreams come true meant we had to sell the house, and it got to the stage where nearly 3 visas ran out, and it was either you sell the house and go. So at that time, we adjusted the price, we sold the house, and we left for our new adventure in Canada. And from that time, we never ever looked back. We had fabulous travel memories of moving to a new country. And again, our travel was always there throughout our life together as we moved on. And I didn't realize at the time that we would then only have 10 years in retirement together. But you know what? Those 10 years that Norm and I had were absolutely priceless. We crammed so much into them. We did cruises, we did land tours, we went to Australia, we cruised down the Panama Canal. We did so many different places that I would like to say to my former younger self, whatever you want to do, just do it. Make it a priority. If you want to change country, put a plan in together to do it. Even if the children are younger, or even if you don't have children and you're just solo and you're single, say to yourself, what do I want to do? Even perhaps put yourself together a list of things that you'd like to do, and you can make it happen. Because now, when I'm older at 68, what I have is those absolutely priceless memories. Something else that was really important that Norm and I put the hard way was about finances when we were younger. I'll be honest with you, we lived beyond our means in the UK. We had a house, the mortgage was way too big. We kept bailing ourselves out on the credit cards because the hydro bills would come in, the food bills were there. We were bringing up 2 young children, and we kept bailing ourselves out on the credit card. And eventually that becomes a very big no-no. I would not recommend that. Credit card debt is an absolute killer. Just put something out of every paycheck away, because Norm and I just couldn't believe how much money it actually gradually put away. And the funny thing was, you don't actually miss it because the money's taken out at source, and then you get on with living with, you don't even miss it. But I tell you what, over that 10 or 20 years, and if you're now 30, by the time you get to where I am at 68, that little amount of money you put away will be worth an absolute fortune to. Very important. Look after your relationships. If you were very lucky, like I was, to have found Norm, we were very lucky to realize that we met each other very young. And I was very fortunate that he was the one for me and I was for him. And we had a fabulous relationship. We were married 50 years and we were very lucky. I know, unfortunately, many people aren't and they get divorced. And try and look after the relationships that you have. Actually, love yourself. I think that now, as I'm on my own, I'm maybe looking at things very differently, that you have to be happy in your own skin. You might be in a relationship in your 30s or 40s, but even if you're in a relationship, you learn to share. But if something happens to that relationship, you need to look after yourself. Thanks, everyone, for spending the time with me.